Hey, and welcome to Tom Press, where I talk about WordPress startups and the life of a software developer in New York City. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Fitbit as well as the Aria Smart Scale, which I'm going to set up. Just got that guy, and my wife's been wanting to use it for a while now, so it's about time to make this video so I can get that up and running. I've been using the Fitbit for about a year and a half now or so. When I was working at Woo Themes, they sent everyone in the company a Fitbit. And as you can imagine, when you're sitting in front of a computer all day, you don't really move that much. So when I started, I was doing about 1,200 steps a day or so, mostly the kitchen and the bathroom. And overall, I really like the Fitbit. It ranks you against your friends, so it gives you at least a little bit of motivation to try and move a little bit more. Eventually, when I moved out of New York City, I was walking a lot more, going to and from work at least, and I was doing about 7,500 steps a day. But I was actually gaining a lot of weight at that time. I started a new job at a startup that had multiple kitchens, a refrigerator stocked with beer, and a full bar. Also, there's a pub right around the corner from me, so there were many nights over there, and a lot of empty calories. Eventually that company got sold, and I started working at another company in Manhattan, and I started averaging about 10,000 steps a day. I used to go out with my coworkers during lunch and walk around a bit, at least at a restaurant or something. And I used to get off, one subway stop early each way on my commute, so that brought my average number of steps up a lot. Even though the Fitbit's been great, there are definitely a lot of shortcomings with it. First of all, it would be with the connectors. It's got 3 little connecting points at the bottom of the Fitbit, which started corroding pretty much a couple months after I got it. And the connector that you put it into, it has 3 little spring-loaded things that hit the connection points, and it can be very finicky, so it takes a lot of wiggling around for it to actually start charging. Once it does start charging, and it is charged, it lasts for about 5 days or so, which is pretty good, so it's only about a weekly occurrence of having to deal with that pain in the butt. Also, it has a metal clasp on the bottom to connect the band to your wrist, and that band is really good at scuffing up a MacBook. I'm not sure if you can see it too well in the video, but on my old MacBook Air, right around where your wrist goes, around the bed, it took off the chrome finish a bit and made it look kind of, really scuffed up. So aside from those qualms, it's been pretty good, and I'm happy that I've been using it. It's at least made me try to be a little bit more active. So we're going to try to set up the scale now. I'm going to try to do it with one thumb, since I had a little mishap on the Super Bowl cutting up some cauliflower. So this is fresh out of the box, and I read up some of the instructions online, so hopefully that'll save a little bit of time. So we're going to open up the scale right now. I got the black one. It's got a nice shiny finish on it, as you can see. And so if you go to their website, there's a start selection screen that lets you set it up pretty easily. And from what I read, there's a pull tab somewhere on here to go and start the process. There it is on the bottom. Yank that guy out. And I think it was supposed to turn on at that point. There we go. It's covering up one of the connectors on the battery port. That guy's in now. It's got a little light on the screen, and it says the setup is active. So at this point, I think I'm supposed to go to my computer and actually connect it. So it does a Wi-Fi connect to whatever your network is. I have my Bluetooth on too, but I don't think that's needed for anything, actually. So now it's scanning the Wi-Fi and bringing the scale into the network, which is nice. So I kind of figured I would have to go and use a big button on the pad to go through and try to enter a Wi-Fi password into that scale interface, which would be pretty bad. But it seems like a pretty easy process so far. Right now, it's doing the handshake, I guess, between the device and the network, and setting up all the credentials on there. And hopefully I'll figure out how much I weigh pretty soon. When I went to the doctors for my normal physical a couple of months ago, I was up at 185, which is a lot more than I've really ever weighed. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll weigh a little bit less now. Hopefully 180 or so would be a good number right now. It's got the screen. It kind of shows a loading bar, and it says joining and linking to network. The computer now says it's linked up, and there's a check mark on the LCD screen here. I'm hoping that means I can go and stand on this guy and get a number. So it tells me hi when I walk in with a happy face, and it says it's sensing me. Hope it senses me at the scale. I think what it's doing right now is trying to figure out who I am and get my credentials, more or less my weight and stuff, into the scale, so that when someone steps onto it, that it knows who is standing on it. You can have up to 8 people on the scale, and it's supposed to go and remember each of those people. I kind of wonder how accurate that is if the people are very similar in weight. And it's telling me to step off the scale now. Now it has a check mark again, so I assume that's complete. So I'm guessing my scale is all ready to go. And I'm stepping back on the scale, seeing if the weight changed at all. So it says I'm 167.7, so I'm pretty happy with that. I've been kind of dieting since 1st of January or so. So I'm down a notch or so on my belt, and I kind of figured I'd only be down about 5 pounds. So, hey, I'm happy with what the scale told me, so can't argue with that.